It's time for the Douglas Coleman Show. Mr. Smooth and Savvy is joined by guests from all walks of life. From the entertainment industry to authors to political and social commentators. The famous and not so famous. The controversial and the light and fluffy. We have it all. Now, here is Douglas Coleman.
Howdy-howdy-o. Hey there, hi there, ho there. Welcome to the Douglas Coleman Show. It's me, Douglas Coleman. How are ya? Thank you for being here. Nice to have you with us as always. We've got two interviews today. First one up is Ben Rauch. Ben is an actor, singer, composer, musician, originally from New Jersey. He is the creator and composer of the Emoji Song. We will be featuring that during the interview. He will be followed by Julian Fort. Julian is a writer, director, filmmaker. He's currently got a new film out, his debut film, called The Midnighters, which is a great film. I highly recommend people see it. It's available on Amazon, amongst other places. We don't have too much time to chit-chat. I don't normally play my own music as a feature on the show because modesty forbids me to do so. However, I've been getting a couple of requests for this song, and I realized that my subscription on TuneCore expired, so the song wasn't even available to buy anymore. So I'm going to play it now, and then if you like it and you want to purchase a download, it is now available on all the usual places, iTunes and Spotify and all those places that TuneCore distributes music to. After the song, we will be back with Ben Rauch and then Julian Fort.
I don't always have the time. It's not your fault or mine. Just happens when we stay too long. Outside as we are cold, there's something you were told about me and my love for you. Riding on my sound. No need to slow it down. Moving so fast, I keep on falling. Riding on my sound. Will never touch the ground. He's always been a long, long way down. Round the circle we did go. We just forgot to grow. Debating life and love all wrong. And now we cannot run. Doesn't mean we won't have fun. Expecting you to understand. So sell it all online and go somewhere divine. Forget the life we had before. Can't you hear my voice? I really have no choice. It's all I can do to belong to you. Riding on my sound. Never touch the ground. There's always been a long, long way down.
Okay, please welcome to the Douglas Coleman Show, Ben Rauch. Hi, Ben. How are you?
Hey, how you doing, Douglas? Good to speak with you.
Well, thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Sure. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Let's see. You are an actor, singer, composer, musician. You did the Emoji Song, which I just listened to a little while ago. Very funny. Good song.
Thank you.
I liked it. It's
Thank
clever.
you so much.
Tell us a little about your background first, and then we can talk about your song and the movie stuff you've done, and just give us a little brief background.
I'm Caucasian and short.
Well,
is that
okay.
you meant like other background?
Well, no, that gives people an idea what you look like, anyways.
I was teased as a child for being short. I grew up playing music and acting and performing, and I've been in the business for a while and doing different TV and film projects and music videos, and I have an album coming out called Tales from the Turnpike, and this last music video called the Emoji Song is it's been winning a bunch of awards. We won the USA Songwriting Competition and an American Songwriting Award and 4 Global Music Awards, and it's been an amazing whirlwind. It's been great. Just getting people to hear it and getting it out there. It's been a blessing.
Okay, so I got to ask, how tall are you?
I'm 6'8". I'm joking. In centimeters or inches? I'm 5'4.5". I tell the ladies 5'5". You know what I mean?
Oh, all right.
So they're like, "Oh, damn, he's tall."
Do you wear lift shoes at all? Did you go into that?
I looked into that and stilts, but I was afraid I was going to break my neck with the stilts, and it's like a little overkill, the stilts. Stilt walking. Actually, I have a friend who does that who's already tall. He's like 6'2", and he's a stilt walker. But I just I've looked into platform shoes, but as a performer, it's a blessing as well as it's just a blessing. I think everything's a blessing. We're all who we are because that's what we were born as, and I embrace my shortness. No one's getting the part of one of the dwarfs in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs except for me. There's another Hobbit movie. I'm in that in a second. I get in to see those guys in a second. So I'm fine with it. I'm really fine with it. I joke about it, but I'm fine with it. Well, makes me look younger. I mean, I think older people I'm not in my 50s, but people as you get older, that are short, they still have this youthful quality.
Well, that's true. I mean, Mickey Rooney looked young forever.
Yes,
he did. And actually, I'm trying to think. Paul Simon is only about 5'4" too. So you're in pretty good company, I think. Thank
you. Michael J. Fox. Also, I did stand-in work for him years and years ago. So I got to meet him because we're the same exact height. I don't do that work anymore, but I got to I did stand-in work for him for a Spin City commercial, and I got to meet him, and it was crazy. I love him. Back to the Future is one of my favorite movies.
Oh yeah, great film. And you know who else was not that tall, but people didn't realize it was Bob Hope.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
He was only about 5'6", maybe.
Wow. But, I know. Yeah. Wow, that's interesting. That's good to know. I know. Yeah, there's a lot of Dustin Hoffman and Al Pacino is not that tall, and Robin Williams was not that tall, who's one of my favorite actors. There's a lot of people that are that are short that you don't realize. Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Because I'm going up for those same
one.
exact parts as Tom Cruise. It's like me and him, like right neck and neck. No, I'm not. That's not my thing.
It's amazing how tall people can look on camera.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. Especially when they're standing next to 7-year-olds.
Exactly. Or sitting down.
7-year-old next to.
Yeah.
Right. Or sitting. Exactly. Yeah. There's ways of shooting things that are make you can make anything look tall or short.
Now you're a piano player, correct?
I am. I'm a pianist, but I don't know if I could say that word on air. Is that okay?
Oh yeah.
That, pianist?
Yeah, that's no problem.
Great. Good. Yeah. So I'm a piano player, keyboard player, and I write all my own music and play and sing, and I'm touring with Darlene Love now. I don't know if you know Darlene Love. She's like one of the greatest rock singers of all time. She's got hit after hit from the 50s and 60s.
She's not related to Courtney.
No, not related to Courtney. No. She's singing, like Do Run Run, and He's a Rebel, and The Boy I'm Gonna Marry, like all these songs that were like number. He's a Rebel, I think, was number one on the charts at one point, and she's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I've been touring with her as her keyboardist, and it's been awesome.
Now, what do you prefer doing, acting or music?
I think for me, it's like my soul is like the most satisfied when it's like a combination of everything. That's what my music is. It's like story through song. It's usually comedy song, like funny song, kind of like Weird Al. I love Weird Al. I also love people like Phil Collins, Ben Folds, Andy Samberg, all these guys, Jack Black. But it's I'm acting through the song. So it comes from musical theater, Broadway music, but more contemporary and more pop, more rock, and some rap on the album too. But yeah, that's where I'm the most satisfied, like when I'm doing all of those things at the same time. So it's my own music. But I think it's like food, like sometimes you like really want sushi, and sometimes you want pizza or pasta. And like, if you were to choose one for the rest of your life, it's kind of like, I don't know if I can't eat sushi every day. I'll get mercury poisoning.
Well, when you're doing acting roles, are you basically playing a musician or a singer-songwriter, or do you take all kinds of whatever? Any kind of role?
No, I everything, all different things, things with character. I consider myself a character actor, so I do, characters with different accents and voices, and I have a part in this Melissa McCarthy movie coming up called "Can You Ever Forgive Me?" that's coming out in October, and I got to work with her, and I was in the movie Jersey Boys and worked with Clint Eastwood in that. I was a singer, keyboard player for the 4 seasons, so that was a musician thing. But yeah, no, it's really all over the gamut. Like, I love doing all different types of things. I don't want to limit it. I don't think any actor does, but we tend to like, oh, that's the short, funny guy, or, that kind of thing. People put us in boxes, which is okay as long as they're, using the box.
Well, I saw that on your bio. I wanted to bring that up, that you were in the film Jersey Boys. How was it working with Clint Eastwood?
Oh my God. He first of all, he's not short. But he's great. He's really he's a wonderful person. And he's a legend. It was amazing to be on set, and he hires wonderful people, and the top people in the top of their industry, and just watching how he works. And he's very non-egotistical. He's very just like, do what you want to do. Let's try it. And I think is the best way to be as a director. But we would think that somebody that's been in Hollywood for 40, 50 years would not be like that, but he was. He was really like easygoing, and came over at one point. We're talking music because he's a musician as well, and he was talking about, oh, is that chord that? And I'm like, yeah, that's that chord. It goes to there. And he goes, oh, that's what I thought. Yeah. And so I'm like, oh my God, Clint Eastwood is reaching over my shoulder playing the piano. It's like unbelievable.
He's a jazz musician, isn't he?
He is, yeah. He plays piano, and I think he's written the score for a lot of his movies. He's written the score for a lot of the movies that he's done.
Yeah, I was trying to think. There was the one, Honky Tonk Man was one that I think he did a lot of the music for. Yeah. And he directed Bird, didn't he? Charlie Parker?
I think so. Yeah, I have to look at like his whole. I mean, he's always doing something. I mean, the man is just not going to stop, which I don't think he should. We're lucky to have him. Because he's so experienced. But yeah, I think he did.
You were also in Mr. Robot, yeah?
Yeah.
What did you do in that?
Recently. I had a scene with Rami Malek, the lead guy. Go figure, playing a Marty McFly character.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it was a scene where they were going to the movies and they were saying like, it was like a Back to the Future reunion type of thing, like where they were just showing all the Back to the Future movies. And he goes, and there's this whole line of like people that are dressed as, you know, Back to the Future characters and Doc and Marty and all them. And so he's in the line. And then I have a scene with him as Marty, like basically setting him straight as to what this movie is really about. You know, like an overzealous Comic-Con type of character. It was fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to him in the Freddie Mercury biopic that's coming out. That looks pretty incredible. That's going to be
awesome. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Yeah, that's going to be awesome. I mean, I think it's long overdue. I think he's right to play it.
From the trailers I've seen, he looks spot on. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Tell us a little about the Emoji Song. It kind of tells its own story, but I want to hear it from you. The story behind that song. Sure.
Well, you know, I'm always I try and write songs that, you know, comment on what's going on in the world right now. Not necessarily in a political way, because I try and stay away from that. I think comedy is above that. Comedy is truth. It's above all of politics. But, you know, just from what's going on, how people are reacting socially to different trends. And, you know, right now, emojis are the thing. And for me, too, you know, texting and emojis. I never thought I would text. You know, it's like, why would anyone write words into a phone? You just call somebody originally. And like now it's like that's all I do. I'm like, why would anyone call someone when you could text? Like, it's like a very big change for me, I think, for the world, too. And, you know, there's times where I've had misunderstandings with people through text or, you know, or emoji. You accidentally send the wrong emoji, or, you know, you write a wrong word, or you phrase something wrong, or somebody on the other end is being in a bad mood. And there's a whole big misunderstanding. No, I didn't. The frown was because I felt badly for you, not because I was angry at you. You know, there's this whole big misunderstanding that I think we've all had. And especially in relationships, I think it can harm like a possible potential romantic relationship with somebody. And that's what the song is about. You know, it's about, you know, like what's appropriate to send and what's appropriate for a guy to send or for a girl to send, or, you know, am I sending too many pink emojis? Is that raising eyebrows somehow? Or, you know, the striped lollipops, like when I was saying you're sweet, you know, is that too much for you? Should I not like write, you know, is it too pink? Is it too purple? Is it too rainbow? You know, is that not masculine enough? So there's all of that, you know, that comes up with it as well. So, you know, that's what this is about. You know, it's a comedy song about that, about having a relationship and the relationship becoming immediately like never getting together with somebody. The relationship immediately just becoming like this solely focused text and emoji conversation that prevents us from actually connecting with another human being and going out and maybe holding someone's hand, maybe going further than that, because we're so into this focus of like wooing someone through text. So yeah, that's what it's about.
It's a great subject for a song, but I have to say that I think it would be pretty sad, or a pretty sad statement on our society, if people are actually basing who qualifies as a good significant other based on emojis.
Yep. It's happening though. I mean, it's sad to say, but like, I mean, it's really happening. Oh, he texts me too much, or I don't like those emojis. He's texting me too many weird emojis. It really happens. People will judge for anything. You know, people will judge us for anything, you know, like how long it takes the phone to respond, and, you know, that's my experience. Well, even just hanging out with really judgmental people.
I believe it, but it's scary. I mean, that really, it's depressing to think about that, you know?
Yeah, but I think like we have to go through these waves of like, we go into this, we slip into these patterns, and then we go like, this is ridiculous. We're like this. I'm not connecting with. I mean, you and me can like see that, but I think other people maybe can't. And that's like the power of, you know, comedy and I hope good art is that it can shake us out of this and be like, oh my God, I did judge somebody for that. Oh my God, I so relate to that because that's what I do. Oh my God, I shouldn't do that. That's silly. You know, people can look at other people and see the craziness in them, and they can recognize it within themselves. And hopefully it'll, you know, change people and make people think, yeah, this is a little ridiculous. I am judging him for his pink emojis. You know, maybe he's colorblind. Who knows? You know? Who knows?
Okay, now we got to play the song. All right. This
is a song called The Emoji Song by me, Ben Rauch.
sent 2 thumbs up when she changed her hair. She broke her ankle, I sent 2 hands in prayer. Sent 5 party hats and 3 slices of cake. Sent the happiest birthday that my iPhone could make. I sent cars lined up when I was running late, with turtles and snails to further illustrate. I sent the frustrated grimace of a man to say that I lost my job, it was a thumbs down day. But now she has left me, so please tell me why this happy face, squinty face is starting to cry. Oh, the answer came through when her text did reply. I sent too many emojis for being a guy. I sent 3 to 4 pumpkins each Halloween morn, and 8 Christmas trees on the day that Jesus was born. Fireworks and burgers and cartons of fries with American flags every 4th of July. I sent her swim guy, canoe guy, a guy on ice skates, a pink heart, a purple heart, a heart that just breaks. But now she has left me, so please tell me why this happy face, squinty face is starting to cry. Oh, the answer was simple when her text did reply. I sent too many emojis for being a guy. Even on days we weren't spending together, I sent sunshine and rain clouds to tell her the weather. And when I knew she had doubts about the dream she had wandered, I sent her the message, girl, keep it 100. I sent zoos worth of animals to fill up her phone. Sent more goat, sheep and donkeys than most farmers own. Sent dolphins and bunnies when I felt like jumping. Sent devils with horns whenever I felt like humping. But now she has left me, so please tell me why this happy face, squinty face is starting to cry. Oh, the answer was simple when her text did reply. I sent too many emojis for being a guy. I sent too many emojis for being a guy. Ooh, yeah. I sent too many emojis for being a guy.
I love the party horn at the end. That's great.
Thank you.
Super. That song really can lend itself to sync licensing. Have you gotten any offers for that? For
No.
Cell phone commercials or something?
No, I would love to get that. That's the way I want to go with this. What do you suggest? If you know anybody that does that, I'd love to get involved in that. That would be awesome.
Well, certainly we can, I'll keep you in mind because I get a lot of people on this show that are music producers and people that want to have particular types of songs for particular ad campaigns and things like that. So,
yeah,
it's definitely something that I think would work. I mean, maybe I don't know anybody at Apple, but that would be a great place. I think Apple could use your song.
That's great. Yeah, maybe I'll contact somebody there.
Because I don't know, it's a happy song. It just feels like, you know what I mean? They would probably use 10 seconds of it, just somewhere in the middle. You know how they do it, but
that's fine.
Yeah, you've got an album coming out this year as well, right?
Yeah,
Tales from the Turnpike.
Correct. Yeah, it's called Tales from the Turnpike because I'm originally from New Jersey and I'm a proud New Jersey guy. I had a song on the charts last year called Jersey Christmas. That was about Jersey Christmas, and that's one of the songs on the album, and there's 9 other songs as well that just, about the comedy songs, about life and growth and, how we relate to each other. And yes, I'm really excited to release it. I'm really excited to get this out and I want to tour it and, play out a lot. And yeah, I'm looking forward to everyone hearing it.
When is the album going to come out then?
We don't have an exact date yet,
right.
because I'm just talking to different distributors and things like that. So yeah, I mean, I'm thinking hopefully before December, if not like very early in the new year in January.
Okay, super. Well, Ben, we got to wrap this up. It was nice talking to you. Do you have a website that you want to plug so people can come check you out and check out all your work?
Sure. I mean, I could plug somebody else's website too, if they want. But yeah, mine is Ben Rauch, BenRauch site.com, or Ben Rauch 1 is my Instagram. Ben Rauch Updates is my Facebook, and that's all I got.
All right. Well, Ben, thank you again for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. This was a blast.
Best of luck with that song. It's really a great song. It's funny.
Thank you.
Stuck in my head.
Thank you so much, Douglas.
All right. Take care.
Have a good one.
You're listening to Mr. Smooth and Savvy right here on the Douglas Coleman Show. We'll be right back after these commercial messages.
Tired of living in a culture of lies, fake news, and alternative facts? The Pro-Truth Pledge reverses the tide of lies by calling on politicians, and everyone else, to commit to truth-oriented behaviors. The pledge asks signees to commit to 12 behaviors that research in behavioral science shows lead to truthfulness, such as clarifying one's opinions and the facts, citing one's sources, and celebrating people who update their beliefs toward the truth. Private citizens who sign the pledge get the benefit of contributing to a more truth-oriented society. Public figures get more substantive rewards for signing the pledge in the form of positive media and public recognition. The pledge crowdsources the truth by asking volunteers to evaluate the statements of public figures who sign the pledge. Take the pledge, demand that your elected representatives do so, and encourage your friends to take it at protruthpledge.org.
Acclaimed author of Garden, Jane Yates brings you the first book in a new trilogy, Octopus Pirate, a story of a foundling who has unusual talents, such as the ability to communicate with octopuses. As a baby, he was washed up on an island off the Scottish mainland. An eccentric former nun who lives alone with cats brings him up. He joins a circus and narrowly escapes plots against him, flees to Cornwall, builds a replica pirate ship that's also an airship to travel back in time to fight real pirates. Get your copy today from Amazon, only 99 cents.
Hi there, this is Stuart Epps from the UK, record producer, engineer. You might have heard of me. I've worked with artists from Elton John to Led Zeppelin to Bad Company, Twisted Sister, Robbie Williams, Oasis, many great bands and artists in the past and the present and hopefully in the future. But you can work with me as well. All you got to do is get in touch with me on eppsmusicproductions.com. That's eppsproductionsmusic.com. And I can help you with your productions and with your recordings. A lot of people do home recordings now, which you can only take so far. Maybe they need a bit of professional help. So get in touch with me and we can sort it out. And thanks for Douglas Coleman for giving me the spot. Thanks a lot. Cheers, bye.
And now...
Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat. See? Nothing up my sleeve. Presto! Wrong hat.
Now here's something we hope you'll really like.
Okay, please welcome to the Douglas Coleman Show, Julian Fork. Hi, Julian. How are you?
I'm good, Douglas. How are you?
Very good. Thank you. I watched your film. I watched it last night, The Midnighters.
Oh.
And I really liked it. The challenge becomes to talk about a film without spoiling it. But I was looking on your bio, and the film has been out for a while. I thought this was a new film that was just coming out, but it looks like it was out a year and a half ago, yeah?
No, we finished it a year and a half ago, but it was actually released on July 24th of this year, so I would call it brand new.
Oh, all right.
to the viewing world.
Okay. No, it just says it made the premiere of the Phoenix Film Festival spring of 2017.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. It took a long time to get through the channels to get a decent distribution deal where people the maximum amount of people could see the film.
All right. Well, I'll try to talk about it without spoiling it.
Okay.
You know, we'll work around the actual what happens in the film.
Right. I think it's fine to talk about as long as you don't reveal the ending. Up until that point, I think if I were you, I would feel free to speak about it. But I could tell you're a person who is very experienced watching film, so I trust you to use your judgment.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I am a film geek, definitely.
God bless you.
The one thing, see, I can't bring that up either. See, this is getting crazy.
Okay.
I was going to say, it reminded me of the Robert Redford and Paul Newman film, The Sting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that too much of a giveaway? That's borderline, isn't it?
What's that?
I said that's kind of a borderline. You'd have to see The Sting first. Yeah. Exactly.
And unfortunately, we're so far away from The Sting that, I hate to say that most people a lot of people haven't seen The Sting, not most people. We actually have an actor that was in The Sting in our film, Charles Deercup, who is in the film playing Louis, actually plays Robert Shaw's bodyguard in The Sting.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, I didn't even pick that up. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. He worked with Paul Newman quite a bit, actually. He was in The Hustler. He was in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and he was in The Sting.
Okay.
Those are the three I know for sure.
All right. Well, yeah, the acting was great.
Thank you.
Yeah, I did enjoy the film. And the one thing that I love about indie film is that it takes the films back to their roots, where all you need is a good script and good actors, and you can make a great film. You don't need $200 million worth of CGI. I mean,
Right.
Okay, I'm not knocking Star Wars or,
Sure.
Even James Bond. But like the last James Bond I saw, Spectra, I mean, I swear that he had, maybe 20 lines.
Right.
And absolutely no profound dialogue at all. It was just all in the action. And I mean, that's great if that's what you want to go see. But if you want a good story and you want real human emotion and characters and things, you don't need all that.
Right. And I agree with you. And I also agree with you that, there's nothing wrong with big budget tentpole films at all, actually. I wish that those films were better. I wish that, most films were better. It's very hard to make a movie. I'm not being critical in that way. I wish, when I say better, I mean, I wish there were more diverse, large budget tentpole films.
Yeah.
They seem to be all geared towards a very narrow genre at this point, i.e. superhero films. And that's fantastic. We need myth in our culture. We don't have much myth in our modern culture, and I think superhero films definitely feed that. But there seems to be a lacking in the mid-range area where there used to be character films about there used to be more films about characters, and that seems to have gone a little by the wayside, and hopefully I think it's going to be coming back a little more. But you don't need that much. If you have a great script and great actors, you're in really, really good shape, and you have a little bit of an idea where to put the camera. When you are making low-budget films, you're very limited in what you can do, just by the definition itself. You don't have the money to do almost anything. It was challenging to move the camera in my film, just because we just didn't have enough time to, capture what we needed to capture, get it good, and move on. Anytime we tried to do anything a little bit tricky, we ran into trouble with the schedule. So that's a big deal, and that's, I think, why independent films rely so much on acting and script, is because that's kind of all you got.
I'm wondering if the major studios are just getting lazy.
I believe they are. I think it's worse than lazy. I think that the major studios are not interested in movies. And that's, look, it costs an enormous amount of money to keep a studio going. And so you have to be able to make money, and the audience dictates what's making money and what's not. And the studios, I think, and I'm sure I'm not the first person to say this, and I'm sure you already are aware of this, but studios used to be run by movie fans. They were moguls, they were businessmen, but they also really cared about movies, and businesswomen. I mean,
right.
Sherry Lansing was a really good studio boss. But now it seems like it's strictly about business and, commerce and feeding the world hunger market for the world market for action and spectacle. And that's what I don't understand, is because it has always been, making a movie financially has always been like going to Vegas and playing roulette. And so I kind of don't understand why they don't roll the dice a little more freely and spread it around, because they're still rolling the dice. There are tentpole films that are disasters. I forget the name of that, but that Disney film a few years back, the before they had their great streak, the one about Mars. Can't remember the name. It was like a $200 million film that just made like $5.
I don't remember that one.
Exactly.
Prove
my point.
Yeah. And the one that came to mind was the one with Matt Damon, but that was a pretty good film, The Martian.
Oh yeah. That one, no, I think that did really well, actually.
Yeah.
I think that did well. Ridley Scott tends to still operate in a really creative place.
It's funny. I can make the comparison to music as well with the films that are coming out these days, because it seems like the major labels, the record labels, are only interested in producing real. I was going to use Gene Simmons' great analogy of tits and karaoke machine, which I happen to like. But music has gone away from the singer-songwriters, which was always the great passionate music of the last, 30, 40, 50 years even.
Sure.
And now it's just commercial pop. There isn't a real instrument to be seen anywhere on stage, and it's just a lot of skin and dancing around and somebody in the back room with an iPad that's controlling the sound.
I agree entirely.
And it seems like the major studios are pumping out that kind of quality movie, with $200 million worth of CGI, which is great, but, the story isn't there anymore. The acting isn't there. It's all moved to indie.
Right.
And the same thing has happened with music. All the great bands are indie bands.
Right.
So
No,
I don't know. I guess
I agree with you.
Yeah. It brings up a point about digital technology, because do you think that this was a result of digital technology? That it enabled the indies, but it made the big studios lazy at the same time?
Yeah, I think it's a fascinating topic, and I think it extrapolates out further than entertainment and art. I think it probably extrapolates all the way out to the way the entire world is headed right now. And I'm not smart enough to map that, but I do think that I think it's a couple problems, and one is the fact that technology has democratized the filmmaking process to such a degree, and it happened with music about 15 years earlier. It's democratized it to such a degree that it's very, very, very. I don't want to say easy, because making any film is really, really difficult, but it's much more available, the technology, so that you can make a film, and everyone is making films. It's actually quite alarming. And so, it's like exponential growth in content. And I believe I'm speaking to programmers, of television and distributors as well. They talk about the bandwidth problem 30 years ago versus now. And 30 years ago, you had, a very large bandwidth, a very large group of people that wanted to watch films, but you didn't have enough films to fill the bandwidth. And then cable came out and home video and all that, and it filled up that space. And now you have so much content that you have a smaller bandwidth where you're trying to feed in this ocean of content. I'm not sure if that makes sense.
Oh, it makes perfect sense.
But that's definitely, okay. That's definitely, I think, one of the things that's happening. I mean, that's what we went up against, trying to get distribution and go through the festival circuit. And so I think the studios are faced with a huge problem, because the technological revolution is just going to continue on exponentially. And so God knows where content's going to be. I hate using the word content, by the way, but who knows where films are going to come from in 10 years' time. My niece might be making one with a device that is as of yet invented. My 5-year-old niece.
Well, what was that film that came out a few years ago? I think it was called Tangerine, and it was all shot on an iPhone.
Yep. I just watched the director's second film last night, actually. I watched The Florida Project. I hadn't seen it yet. And he shot that on a Panavision camera with, film. And I thought, wow, that's a good jump. iPhone to Panavision. I'm glad he shot it on film, but I didn't mean to cut you off, please. Well,
no,
the
that's
Tangerine
all right.
film.
Hello. We're kind of talking over each other here. No, it's okay. We can edit that. That's why I don't do a live show anymore.
Great.
Yeah, we did a live show for about 8 weeks. And, live is always exciting, but the problem was we had so many technical issues, and people would comment about how funny it was that I was talking to myself for 3 minutes because the call got dropped. And, and that really wasn't what we were going for, No. Comedy of errors is fine every once in a blue moon, but after that it becomes actually kind of tragic. Yeah, so we said, you know what, we're just going to do a pre-recorded show. We can edit, we can filter, we can mix, we can do all kinds of great stuff. And in the end, we got a good product to put out.
Yeah, especially if you have like a nervous talker like me, and I interject, and it can be difficult. So I'm very glad this is pre-taped.
The one thing I did want to bring up, since you mentioned the guy who went first film was on an iPhone and second was a Panavision camera, what do you think is, now I'm going as an aesthetic question, do you prefer 35 millimeter film or digital?
I absolutely prefer 35 millimeter film over digital, except the fact that unless you have an enormous budget anymore, it's almost impossible to shoot film. Aesthetically, it is so beautiful, and that's sort of the frustrating thing about film for me personally, is that I feel like the art form reached a real zenith in terms of what could be done aesthetically about 10 years ago. And then the art form started to degrade with, just the viewing habits of the population, of society, watching watching movies on your phone. It's like, if you're going to spend all the time and money and effort and artistry to shoot a film on 35 millimeter with anamorphic lenses and beautiful production design and sound design and cinematography, and then watch it on an iPhone, it's a damn shame. David Lynch, actually, if you Google David Lynch watching movie on an iPhone, he sums it up perfectly in 30 seconds. And I don't want to curse on your show, so I won't say what he said.
Well, it seems to me, again, I can draw another parallel between music and film, because the music purists prefer vinyl records. Over digital music. Digital music tends to sound very sterilized. And I think the same thing could be said for... I've watched a couple of movies that were completely digital, and it took a little getting used to, because it looked a little too clean, I guess would be... I'm not sure if that's the right word, but the one that's coming to mind is Avatar.
Right.
The picture was just so different,
Right.
And it took a little getting used to, so I don't know. But I think in terms of you being a filmmaker, there certainly is advantages to digital, where you can watch instantly what you put down and not have to wait for the film to be processed. And
no, absolutely. In fact, as a filmmaker making a lower budget film, I can't imagine shooting it on actual film stock, because of all the advantages you get in terms of the ability to move quickly, to record. You can shoot for 30 minutes unabated, and then whereas the longest you can go, unless you have these really expensive 1,000-foot or 5,000-foot mags or whatever they were, is 10 minutes in a film reel before you have to change it out. So you can move so quickly with digital, and you also get the added advantage of seeing the final result right there, at least as close as you're going to get. You can actually see what the grade, the color grade is going to look like on the day, rather than waiting till you've assembled your work print and cut the negative and gone to the lab to do color timing. So there are advantages. Now, if you've had them, I just worked a few days on Quentin Tarantino's new movie, and now that is how you shoot a movie on film, because his film crew, honestly, I felt like I was watching NASA mixed with the Secret Service making a film. I've never seen a better oiled machine than that. It's truly astounding how perfectly he has it down now. It was amazing. I don't want to talk too long about it because we're talking about my film, but you really have to have your ducks in a row to shoot on film, as far as I'm concerned. So are the big studios still using film? I think sometimes they shoot on film. I think that, I know that Tarantino's doing film. I think they do. I think it comes down to director and cinematographer preference. But don't quote me on that, because I don't know. Okay. I'm sure the studio would rather you shoot on digital. Yep. Yeah, probably. Let's get back to your film, The Midnighters. Now, How long did that take you to shoot? We only had an 18-day schedule, and we lost 3 days due to the chaos of micro-budget filmmaking. So really the bulk of the movie was shot in 15 days, and then we came back about 3 months later for another 3 days of production. So we kind of got our 18 days over time, and 18 days is no schedule to shoot a movie. Contrast that with, I actually inquired what the new Tarantino film shooting schedule was, and they were at 115 days scheduled. So it shows you the disparity. It takes time to find a movie, and the more time you have, the better. But those schedules are getting shorter and shorter. I would say your average Hollywood movie shoots anywhere between 20 and 35 days now. So it's tough. It's tough. You were also the writer. You pretty much did the whole thing with this film, yeah? You were the writer, the director, the producer. I had a producing partner on the film who helped quite a bit. But, unfortunately, you kind of have to do everything. If you don't have any money, you got to do it all yourself. Also, if I'm reading this correct, this is your first film, yeah? It is my first film, yeah. And the learning curve is like a greased pole. It's vertical. So tell me a little bit about how you came up with this story, because it's an interesting story. Was this just something that popped into your head, or did you kind of plot it out? No, it's actually kind of it is an interesting story where it came from. I write a lot in coffee shops in LA, and over a period of time, I became friends with an unbelievable character actor named Leon Russin, who, he's got an IMDb credit list of like 120 titles, and he's lived on the stage since he was in his early 20s. He's just an amazing actor, and we became friends just because we would talk about politics and stuff like that at the coffee shop, and he was kind enough to read a script of mine, and he liked it a lot. And I just kind of got up the guts to ask him. I just said, look, I want to make a film. If I write something for you, what would excite you? What, as an actor, what would be your dream role? And I don't think he took me seriously that I was actually going to go off and write a script for him. So he just kind of threw out, well, I'd like to be a parent whose kid's in trouble, and I don't know, I got to help him. And then I took that, and as quickly as I could, I crafted this sort of intricate little plot twisted film and presented it to him, and he flipped. He was like, absolutely, when can we do this? When can we start? And then the filmmaking process began, which is a whole other thing. But so I crafted it around, sort of what he laid out. So I've never done that before, and I haven't done it since. So it was interesting.
Do you still need to know somebody like that? Like, if somebody writes an idea or a half a script, or what's the term, a treatment, a synopsis, right? How do you shop that? I mean, how does somebody get that to where it could be plausible to make the film rather than just, a couple of pages of an idea?
Yeah, I really still believe it's all who you know.
Okay.
I really do. I mean, at least in terms of expedience, in terms of time, because it takes a very, very long time if you don't have the wind at your back to get people interested. I think that having Leon committed to the film certainly brought in a higher caliber actor, and that's something that I'm forever in his debt for many, many, many things. He's a wonderful teacher. He's such a great actor, and we were able to bring in actors that really sell the movie. I mean, that's the, like you said in the beginning of our talk, all you have is script and actors in independent films, and so I hit the jackpot with these guys because they're so good. The movie would have just fallen flat on its face without them. But I think if you were to get a movie star attached to a script, I think the gears will move a lot quicker. I still don't think it's easy to raise money and get a film made. But if Brad Pitt is interested in playing the lead role in your film, I think the gears get heavily greased. At least I hope they do.
Well, I've heard stories that people have done GoFundMes and have raised enough money to make their film, but I'm always curious how somebody who hasn't done anything even starts that process.
Yeah, it's really tough because once again you're swimming in that ocean of content and competition. So unless you have some name that's recognizable attached to it, I mean, how are you're vying for people's attention? And a lot of people want to watch films with actors that they know and like. It's one of the ways that you pass the quality test. So I really would like to attract some more familiar names to scripts that I would like to get funded, just because I want more people to see the films. What
have you got in development now?
I have quite a few things, quite a few irons in the fire. I've got a thriller a psychological thriller that I think is spectacular. It's if I had to describe it to you, it would be like No Country for Old Men Psycho and The Silence of the Lambs all met out in the middle of the Mojave Desert and watched Zodiac or something like that on a big drive-in movie screen.
Wow, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's a really, really interesting genre-bending movie that's got some just terrifying stuff in it that I can't wait to actually dig into. And then I'm working on an experimental film right now. One of my investors has given me a little chunk of money, smaller than the Midnighters, but he just loved the movie so much. He was like, "Look, I don't know if you can do anything with this, but here's some money. Go make another movie." So I'm in the process of writing a revenge film right now, actually. And in fact, I took a break from it to talk to you. Those are the two things I've got going right now.
Okay, super. We got to kind of wrap this up. We just blew through our time here. Do you have a website that you want to promote? People can come and check you out.
I would love to have people check out the film. And at the film's website, you can see where you can watch the film, and you can watch it pretty much anywhere. And the website is themidnightersmovie.com. There's another film called Midnighters, so you have to put the THE in there. It just goes to show you how much content there is. So themidnightersmovie.com.
And it's available on Amazon, I would assume, for rental.
It's available on Amazon. It's available on iTunes, Blu-ray, DVD. It's coming to Hulu next month, I believe. A bunch of other Vudu, Google Play, a bunch of, I think, YouTube as well. It's out there.
Julian, thanks so much for coming on. It was great talking to you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Well, that's about all the time we've got for the show today. I want to thank my special guests, Ben Rauch and Julian Fort. This is Douglas Coleman saying, I'll see you when I see you.
It's a